YouTube and Shorts can definitely be a great place for you to share knowledge and give examples of stuff you've lost, stuff you've won, without naming names, of course. But like you can share expertise and knowledge.
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hausman. Joining me today is a brand new rock star. I'm super excited to dive in today, and he's nice enough to be playing hurt. He isn't feeling great, and he still showed up and is hustling. He's an entrepreneur. He's a marketer. He's the CEO and founder of Agora Pulse. Aymeric Ernoult, thanks so much for joining me.
Well, Kirby, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So in doing my research on you, I know you grew your company without external funding. And obviously in a world of private equity and investments and all those things, that's kind of unique. So what advice can you give for growing without outside investment?
Two pieces of advice, actually. One is get the right co-founders, because if you're not going to get external funding, that means that you're going to have in the co-founding team all the hard skills that you need to start the kind of business you want to start. So if you're like me, you want to start a software business and you're not a software developer yourself, your co-founder has to be a software developer. If you want to start a lawn mowing business and you don't have a lawn mower, your co-founder needs to have one.
So fair.
Anything you do or you are that is not enough to build a business, make sure you understand really clearly what else is needed to start that business and to succeed at getting early traction and minimum viable or lovable product, and ensure that you get the co-founding team that's made of that. So that's number one. Otherwise, you're not going to do anything. And you may have seen in my history that I used to be an M&A lawyer, which doesn't know how to build anything software. So I had to find a great co-founder. And the second thing is be very acutely aware and okay with the level of sacrifice that you're going to have to make, because starting a business, especially with funding, is also really hard. There's not really big differences with this. But if you do not have any funding, it's going to be really hard and really poor. There's going to be both. So it's a combination of a lot of sacrifices. And, be ready to not see your friends for a year or two, see your family very little, have very little vacation. Like it's obviously like getting into a religion or something. Like you have to be ready for that. And that requires a specific mindset and type of persona. Not everyone is ready for that. It's totally okay, but you got to be clear with this.
I tell you what, I think that's really great advice. And I don't think we talk about it enough. It's like, I think people see the successes or the faux successes on Instagram and all that stuff. And it's like, oh, it's great. Being an entrepreneur, you have all the money in the world. And I think sometimes just talking about it's okay that there are challenges, because I think if you think it's going to be easy, that's what makes it really hard. Right. Like, and so I appreciate you saying that. So most people, I think today, at least that I know, understand that social media is a tool that you need in marketing. But how do you see it fitting into the marketing mix?
That's a great question. First of all the different marketing channels that we use hardly fit with each other. Like, how does email fit with paid? Not so much, right? How does event fit with paid or email? Well, you can kind of try to make it work, but you're doing clunky additions, and there's not really deep connections between those channels. And social, unfortunately, is the same. You can make social be a recipient for your email strategy or for your paid, or you can make them both work, paid and organic, go all on social. But the way it fits is a way you have to build yourself, and you have to engineer and articulate yourself. And it's quite a challenge, not going to lie. I'm a marketer by trade. Like I told you, I was an M&A lawyer, but in 2000, I became a marketer. So it's been 25 years. And marketing is probably one of the most challenging thing in starting a business, because there is no playbook. There is a playbook for sales. There is a playbook for development, especially now with AI. Playbook is getting faster and faster and clearer and clearer. There is absolutely no playbook for marketing. Every company has to reinvent what will work for them based on the kind of company they target, SMB, mid-market, enterprise, but you have to build your own playbook by getting inspired by what worked for others and trying to experiment and see what works for you. So in that context, there are companies where social will be a major channel. For example, if you're a service business and you can showcase what you know and your expertise and your knowledge, like let's say you are a home improvement business. If you're a home improvement, social media is probably the best place to showcase this is before and after. This is what I've done, how I made it. This is what my customer thinks of the work I've done for them. This is the kind of house I work in, the kind of multifamily, whatever you're doing. And obviously, as you're doing more and more work, you create more and more content based on your work. So it's absolutely ideal because there's a movement and there are things you can show and you can uh, you can create very interesting content for people who are potentially interested about what you do. So that's a great example. If you are a lawyer, for example, it's a little bit more challenging, but you can still show what you know and share your knowledge with the world. So Instagram is probably not going to be where you're going to share that knowledge, but YouTube and Shorts can definitely be a great place for you to share knowledge and give examples of stuff you've lost, stuff you've won, without naming names, of course. But like you can share expertise and knowledge. Same for accounting or financial advisor, that kind of stuff. But if you are, I don't know, if you're like a plumber and all you do is fixing plumbing, maybe it's a little bit more difficult, unless you're doing home improvement and you can show I turn this bathroom into that bathroom. So there are businesses where social media is going to be amazing for. And there are businesses, if you're manufacturing, like hardcore manufacturing with nothing fancy, unless you want to be attractive for other manufacturers that want to learn how you use your machines and that kind of stuff. But that's probably not your audience. Your audience is the people who buy your stuff, not your machine and how you machine them. So that's going to be much harder for those types of businesses. So you have, as a business, you have to ask yourself, is what I do something exciting for my target audience? And do they want to see me do it and see me explain how I do it, how I improve it, and so on and so forth? Then social is an amazing channel. If not, it's probably not your priority channel. And how it fits with the rest is something you have to define as a business. So for us, for example, LinkedIn is a great asset, it's a great channel. But email and influencers, referrals, like how people talk about us, is also a great channel. And we've worked those channels really, really hard because they work really well for us. But paid search doesn't work really well for us. So for other businesses, it works amazingly well. So like this mix of channels and how social fits is something we all have to decide for ourselves.
Yeah, kind of like you said. I mean, the playbook. It's like if there was, we'd all just do the same thing. And so,
I wish.
I think that's the part of the marketer and the entrepreneur. But you were talking about like social media. How do you track it? I think that and I'm a big social media guy, but I think what's the secret for social media attribution?
Yeah. So attribution is a big word. Which I love, but I also hate at the same time. We have a love-hate relationship. I think every marketer has a love-hate relationship with attribution. When you think about social, you're going to look at certain things that are top of the funnel. Let's call them top of the funnel. Those things are going to be number of people who subscribe to my thing. I will be a subscriber to your email list. Same thing, people following you on social. Number of people who saw my thing. There will be a number of people who open my email if you take the comparison with email. And then number of people who engaged, interacted with my thing. That's going to be a number of people who clicked on my email, and a number in the engagement, there will be click on my links if there's a link on the post. But sometimes there is no link on the post. And all you want is people to be exposed to your message, to your before after video, and so on and so forth. All these metrics are important because those metrics are exposure, and you want exposure. Like you want a lot of people to open your emails and read them, not necessarily click on everything, but be active and actively engage with you. Same for your ads and same for any channel you want. You have a booth at an event, you want people to stop by the booth and have a chat with you. That's the exact same thing. So that's what you want with social. Now, you can also have with social what you have with paid, which is, are people clicking on the link and doing the actions that I want them to do after they clicked on that link? And that's where the attribution comes into the picture, because there is no attribution if there's no link. There's no attribution if there's not a way to drive people from a place, i.e. social, email, event, anything that's not your business, that's not your website, to your website with a next action that's whatever you want it to be. Watch the video, subscribe, register for my webinar, downloaded a piece of content that's a lead magnet or anything like that. And that is something you can absolutely, and you should absolutely track on social, as with anything else, as with email, as with paid, as with any other type of channel. And it's not everything, but it's going to give you a high level indication of, do I get something through that? Is that topic on social making them go to my site and act on my site better or not? And what should I do more of on social based on that indication? So when you look at what you should be doing on social, you should be doing the stuff that gets either engagement on social itself, they're not coming to your site, or get engagement on your site because they came from social, they saw your thing, say, oh, that's interesting. I want to see, want to see more before and after videos? Click here. I have all of them on my website. And they come to your website and they click and they watch all these before and after. And you're like, you want your own thing? Leave me your email, ask me your questions or whatever is going to be your lead magnet or your lead gen thing. And that's how you do attribution. And you can do that, and you should do that on social the same way you're doing it with everything else. The little difference is that on social, and that's a tool problem. That's the problem we've tried to solve. It's not built in. If you use HubSpot, it is built in. Every link is tracked. You don't have to do anything. If you do a paid ad on Meta or Google, everything's built in. Obviously, the links are tracked, and you know what's happening next. If you use social, it's not built in. And it felt like a miss, so we solved for that to make it built in, that all links are tracked, and you can know if you go in Google Analytics what's happening on your website and what conversions you get. But that's the grand scheme of how do you measure social? By how many people can see it, how many people actually see it, how many people do something about it, and how many people go to the last mile of doing something on my website because I drove them here. And then the attribution, which is this happened on my website. I can directly attribute that to this and that as the last step before this happened. But we can go on these. Is attribution first click, last click, mixed click, blah blah blah. Like, and it's gonna last all night, and we don't want to do that.
No, but I love the perspective, because I do think it's like, I think that you mentioned it. I mean, sometimes we talk about vanity metrics, but the impressions matter from a branding perspective. But then it's like understanding the difference between the levers is important. So final question for you. Obviously, you've lived in this space and you kind of referenced this earlier, but on a personal level, how do you grow a company and still found the time to enjoy some of those aspects of your life? Do you, like, I've heard people say that balance is a myth. Do you believe that?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no balance. If you start a business and you run a business, you're an obsessional, passionate person. Like, I don't know any entrepreneur who is not obsessively passionate about what they do. Otherwise, you don't do it because it's too hard. If it's not a passion of yours, then it's too hard. It's like, if look at sport. If you're an Olympic athlete, think about this. You're an athlete. You want to go and compete in the Olympic. What do you think's going in your mind? It's the obsession of winning. It's the obsession of improving, running faster, running better, swimming faster, whatever it is. It's obsessive. Like, it's the exact same thing. I'm not saying I'm an athletic athlete because I'm not, but I'm thinking this is the same kind of twisted personality.
Yeah.
That cannot work with balance. An Olympic athlete doesn't have a balanced life. They train 6 hours a day or 5 hours a day, and when they rest for the purpose of winning. They don't rest for the purpose of drinking and having pizza and partying with friends. Because if you party with friends, then you lose the competition. But I should say one thing, though, which one of my mentors told me 20 years ago. He said, in life, you have all sorts of buckets that you're going to grow one by one. You have the family bucket, the friend bucket, the sport health bucket, the business money bucket, and the whatever passion hobby bucket. And you may have the religion bucket that's important to you, like any kind of bucket you have in your life, that's something that matters to you. You cannot grow all of them at the same time. It's impossible. You cannot be a great father, a great husband, a great friend, and a great entrepreneur all at the same time. So what you're going to do in your life, you're going to grow one, and then you go, oh my God, this is very unbalanced. I should stop growing this one, or at least slow down growing this one, and focus more on my wife, on my kid, on my this, on my that. And so your life is a constant, being aware of the unbalance and recreating a little bit of balance. So you're constantly unbalanced and you're constantly trying to do a little bit more on the balance side. So for example, now I'm taking a lot more time off. I'm taking a lot more vacation. I took a 4-day weekend last weekend with my wife and son because I want to. But like 15 years ago, that was impossible. I could have never done that. So it's really a matter of moments.
No, that's I subscribe to that as well, and I think that my wife would say I'm a little unbalanced as well. And so, real quick, just to end up, where can people find out more about you guys?
They can find out more about the company at agorapulse.com, GORAPULSE.com, or they can connect with me on LinkedIn when they want to send me an invite. Just add a note saying, "Yeah, I heard you on a podcast." At least I know where you're coming from. I get dozens of invites every day. I cannot accept all of them because otherwise my LinkedIn would be a zoo. But I'm more than happy to connect with people who do the extra mile of showing that they listened to me somewhere and they found it interesting, and that makes me happy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Emmerich. This was really interesting. I appreciate you taking the time. We'll do it again sometime, okay?
Cool. My pleasure.
Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.